Guys, I am back for another video. This time I kind of wanted to take you along for more of sort of a vlog style video, just showing different parts of my week, different progress on different projects that I'm working on, talking through my process of some different things. And yeah, it's been quite the week. So I'm filming this currently on Saturday, and Lord, it has been quite the week. Just teacher life, y'all. Teacher life. I don't know if any of you are teachers. If you are, I will pray for you. It's really rough out here. It's rough out here. It's hard being a teacher. It's hard being a teacher in this political climate and in this day and age with this generation. I do love it so much though, and it's such a wonderful thing. And I know I've said before, my students are my absolute favorite people in the entire world, and I hold to that. They are actually just wonderful individuals, and they're so funny, and they're so bright and intelligent, and they're just incredible. And so I'm just very privileged to be able to work with them. But Lord, being a teacher is freaking hard. Also, some of my students recently discovered my channel. So if you're watching, hi from Miss Alexander. I talk a little bit later about, some progress on particularly my terrain pullover, and I think I'm also going to attempt to weave in all the ends for the chest panel color work today. That's going to be a heckin' beast. I also have decided to submit a design idea for the Great Tennessee Yarn Tour, so I'm very excited for that. I've been working on the design all weekend, and thankfully I already have had charts written out and everything for a design that was just kind of like, I saw something that sparked inspiration, and so I went home and I made a chart, but then I was like, oh, this feels like more of a fallish kind of situation. I'll wait a while until I actually work it up into a pattern. I didn't know if it would be for a sock or a sweater or what, but it works perfectly for my idea for this design for this contest, for my submission. So I thought that works out perfectly. So I've been working all weekend on knitting up a sample and just figuring out all my design choices and everything, and hopefully it will be submitted in the next few days once I knit the first sample. So that's super exciting. I'm very excited for that. Well, potentially exciting, I should say. I've known about the Great Tennessee Yarn Tour for a while, which is this really exciting thing where they put together a collection of books and they give discounts to different yarn stores all over Tennessee. Basically, people travel around all over Tennessee and travel to different yarn stores to get different yarns of hand dyers and experience local designers from Tennessee, and it's just a really cool experience. Anyways, I did not realize that they were having a pattern contest, and apparently the deadline was today, which today is Friday, February 20th. Ignore my cat's bottom in the back. The deadline was originally today, but I guess they didn't have enough submissions or anything, so they extended the deadline a week later. So a week from today, the 27th of February, is when the designs, the submitted ideas and pictures of swatches and design ideas are due on the 27th. So that's super exciting. I had an idea for a sock pattern. It's a colorwork sock pattern that I have already made the charts for and everything. I just hadn't written the pattern for because I was waiting for the colder months to kind of get started on that, like maybe back when fall starts or starting around August, start like editing and testing the pattern for release in the fall, because it's kind of more of an earthy, like fall-ish sock motif. When I saw like the theme of the year for the pattern contest being kind of like this retro, I was like, oh my goodness, this motif is perfect. So I just wrote up the pattern for it and just finalizing some things and hoping to knit the sample over this weekend so that I could submit it for the contest. And yeah, I will definitely keep you guys updated on that situation. That's just super exciting for me. As you know, I'm a Tennessee native. I was born and raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and both sides of my families. My dad's side was born and raised in the Knoxville area. My mom's side was born and raised in the like Harrogate, Tennessee area. I actually have great grandparents that used to own several different of the businesses in Cumberland Gap, and so that's like legendary and super crazy. But yeah, I just thought it would be like a really cool idea to kind of design this sock in, homage to those familial roots, specifically to my great grandparents who owned a hotel in Cumberland Gap and kind of helped run a lot of the businesses in Cumberland Gap. Okay, so I'm throwing around some ideas for the colors that I want to include for this sock that I'm designing for the contest, and these are kind of my ideas so far. I know I definitely want to include this green color and sort of this burnt umber heather color, this kind of like purpley reddish brown color. And then there's one part in the colorwork section that takes kind of quite a like an orangey-ish color that I'm kind of curious about one of these for. Sorry, I'm like trying to hold the camera while also holding my microphone. I guess I could clip my microphone, but don't really feel like doing that, so just bear with me. But those are sort of my ideas for the colors, the color panels. Let me know what you think. So if you can't tell, I'm currently in my car and it is so bright and sunny. It's incredibly bright and sunny and it's just lovely. So I actually have another local yarn store in my area, which I'm so fortunate to have two in the same proximity. This yarn store is called the Knot and Needle. Technically it's a craft store. They have lots of different things. They have embroidery lessons, punch needling, felting, knitting, crocheting, sewing, lots of different things at this store. And so that's really exciting because I am also, you know, interested in other crafts as well, but particularly their yarn selection is special because they carry yarns from a hand dyer that is very local in Signal Mountain, which is the mountain that I grew up on. So when I was in middle school, my family moved to Signal Mountain. We grew up off the mountain, but still in the Chattanooga area. And then around middle school, we moved to Signal Mountain just for some different family needs. And, you know, we didn't really love it because the culture on the mountain, no shade or anything, but the culture on the mountain is very different than the culture off the mountain. But yeah, I really had a great experience growing up on Signal Mountain. We had like a huge creek and lots of woods in our backyard growing up. We would go hiking. We had hiking trails, like you could literally walk to them from our house. And I was like always in my hammock in the front yard, and we just had so many trees and so many woods around, and it was just a really lovely experience. Anyways, that's kind of a tangent, but I reached out to the store owner of this craft store just again to say like, hey, I just wanted to put myself on your radar. Like, I know I've been shopping at your store for quite a while, but I have recently started, you know, releasing designs, and I would love to figure out like how we can collaborate and things like that. And she reached out and was like, yeah, is this time okay? Is this day okay? So I'm about to go inside and meet with her, so I'm very excited for that. The yarn that I made and designed the apapacho socks with, I actually bought at this store, so that feels super special and exciting as well, just to hopefully get to collaborate with them more. And, you know, we've already kind of been collaborating without even, you know, connecting about it, but just hopefully being able to collaborate a little bit more intentionally. But yeah, I'm about to go in. Gosh, the sun is blaring and so warm, but it's just so nice to have the sun out. It's been raining the past few days, which is boo. I don't know about you guys, but when it rains off and on and just in general, like when the pressure changes, when the temperature changes outside, when it's changing seasons, things like that, it affects my mood so deeply. And also I get like migraines from the pressure changes, so that is really not good. I think also I've been trying to wear my contacts more often, because not that my glasses really are all that different of a prescription, but just something about like my glasses prescription really gives me headaches, I've noticed. I don't know what that's about. I don't know, but I do tend to wear glasses on the days that I feel just a little more lethargic, or like if it's raining outside, before I even know it's raining, I'm like, oh, it's a glasses day. I don't feel, you know, super upbeat. And then I go outside and it's raining and I'm like, oh, something about the pressure just really affects my mood and my body. So it's so interesting. But Chattanooga weather is actually crazy, because it, like, one day could be snowing, the next day could be like 50, 60 degrees, wearing short sleeves. Like, I'm literally wearing short sleeves today, like, and all day long. And my classroom was like warm today, and I was like sweating in the building while teaching. So I was like, what is going on, Chattanooga? Just always something, you know. Anyways, but yeah, I just kind of want to update you guys on just sort of the day-to-day parts of my life, as well as knitting and all the things. So yeah. All right, I will talk to you after this meeting and let you know how it goes. I'm very excited, and I hope that some awesome things come out of it, as I know they probably will. So yeah. All right, hi guys, I just got home and I wanted to update you on how the meeting went. So it went really well. I'm very excited about like the opportunity to collaborate with this yarn store. We were just talking about making up samples to kind of have like a rack with local Chattanooga designers or like Tennessee designers in the area for us to kind of like have a flyer, a QR code to the Ravelry page, and then some samples so that knitters can kind of feel the sample, feel the yarn. And then she also has several like hand dyers that use her store to sell items that she is hoping to kind of help us collaborate together to maybe do like a knitting kit for the sock with their hand dyed yarn and my pattern, and different things like that, which is super exciting because again, the yarn that I made the Apapacho sock sample with and is included in the pattern I bought at the store. That's just a really exciting and cool experience. Yesterday I met with another yarn store owner. That's just super exciting, just to meet with her and brainstorm ideas about how to promote my patterns and how to partner with her. And it's really sweet as well because the hand dyed yarn that I purchased for the Apapacho socks design, this store is where I purchased that yarn. And so it's really exciting to just kind of after the fact as well, just reconnect with the shop owner and just be like, hey, I have already been collaborating with you. You've already been collaborating with me. How can we do that a little more intentionally? And she had some really great ideas and was really open to a lot of things. And so that's just really exciting for me. Yeah, I just love networking and I'm such a relational person. And so really the relational communal aspect of crafting is really dear to me and really important to me, especially in my design work. I really want it to bring people together. And as you know, many of my designs, oh my gosh, my cats are being insane. Indigo. He looks like a goose. We call him Goose or Monkey because he looks like a lemur, and he also looks like a goose. And I also call him Worm because it's a term of endearment. It's like, you know, the classic, like, would you still love me if I was a worm? And the answer is yes, I would still love him because he is a worm. So, as you guys know, a lot of my patterns really have influence from the Spanish language or different cultures in Central America, or really highlighting different, you know, themes or pictures of emotionality that aren't necessarily represented in the English language but are in the Spanish language, like apapacho. Like, that's not really an idea we have in English, but in Spanish it's such a rich, beautiful idea for like how to love someone wholehearted and just that kind of like really deep connection. So I really love that, and I really want to highlight all of that throughout my designs and my process and creativity, and also just sharing with you guys in hopes to uplift the cultures and the students that I'm working with, as well as just hopefully bring us all closer together and help us learn some new words and learn some new ideas and different things. So yes, I do again want to say that 15% of the profit of all of my designs do go straight back into the immigrant communities that I'm serving already in the school system. There are a lot of needs, and I really feel privileged to be able to give back in that way because, gosh, the families and the students that I'm serving and working with have changed my life, and they're just absolutely beautiful, wonderful families and people and individuals. And so it really just feels like an easy thing to do, you know? So please consider supporting if you feel so led, whether you like my designs or because you want to support the cause or whatever. So yeah. I did also want to give a bit of a terrain pullover update. So I took some videos as I was kind of going along for the process. But those videos all had really bad lighting. So while the sun is still out, which it's been setting pretty early since I get home from work, like in the afternoon, I don't really have great opportunities to film while there's natural lighting, and unless it's like Saturday. So I wanted to give a bit of a terrain pullover update. So if you recall, I'm working currently on my second sample for the terrain pullover. Really, this is my first sample because my first sample that I made using the brown and the cream, it's just like the design has changed a lot. The shaping on the sleeves is completely different. There's less positive ease all around. I've changed some things on the like chest panel. So lots of things are different that I wanted to just like rip that one out and re-knit it, honestly. So this is my second sample, but it's really my first sample with the actual pattern that will hopefully be released. So this is what I have so far. It's kind of bunched up on the bottom because I'm still obviously working on the body, but look at all those ends, girl, someone come save me, someone do that for me. So the chest panel is a little tricky because at this part, begins knit flat before you join the body and the round. So that's a little bit tricky, just like figuring out the tension. And then when you join in the round, obviously it changes tension. So I feel like I've done a pretty good job tension wise. The edges look a little crazy though, because I have all of these unwoven ends. This is so chaotic. Girl, look at all that. Because you basically have to cut the yarn after each row because you can't carry it around the entire body. So it just ends up being a lot, to be honest. Because you're joining the contrasting color, which is this like chalky white color, every single row, it makes the tension on this line really tricky. And it also begins to ladder a little bit, if you can kind of see that. So once I weave in the ends, it should be fixed. And then after blocking, it should really be fixed. But that, if you do, once it's released, choose to knit the terrain pullover, that is something that you should probably consider. I've seen other patterns that use intarsia color work, but it's like a drop shoulder construction that uses intarsia. This I chose to do in stranded color work because intarsia didn't necessarily make a whole ton of sense for this specific construction because it is knit in the round, but I have seen pullovers that are knit with a chest panel similar to this using intarsia, but it's knit in flat panels, and then you sew the body panels together with seaming, and then you knit the sleeves in the round by picking up stitches, and then you knit the collar by picking up stitches in the round again. So not everything is seamed, but the body is seamed, and then everything else is picked up and worked in the round. I, as you know, just really hate seaming, so I did not want to do that construction. I wanted to make this as easy as possible in terms of like construction and just all knit at one time, so it's seamless, which we love that. But yeah, I think it is turning out really cute, even with like, you know, the rough edges of the chest panel. And then if I was gonna say if you're familiar with the terrain pullover, but you're not because it's my pattern, which is awesome. But I feel like the collar turned out really cute. It sits pretty well. I think it's cute. It's cutie. It's like kind of tight, like up against the neck a little bit more, and I don't prefer wider collars, so I really wanted it to be that way. But there is some back shaping as well as some shoulder shaping to kind of tilt the neckline forward so that it sits nicely. There's no bunching and buckling in the fabric, but also it really helps get over your head so that it's, because it is such a tight kind of neckline, it sits really right at your neck, so that shoulder shaping and the back shaping to adjust and accommodate for both the shoulder slope as well as the neck hole opening really help in that situation with getting over your head, because it's wide this way but not this way, if that makes sense. So yeah, the terrain pullover has this chest panel which I finished, and then you continue knitting in the round for a few more centimeters. I'm almost there. Then it has another color work section at the bottom, and then a row of non-rolling or non-rolled edging, which is a really awesome technique. And then you bind off an Icelandic cast off using the contrasting color, which is a really cool touch, and kind of like ties in all of the terrain designs with the terrain hat duo as well. And then for the sleeves, it is an unshaped sleeve, so it's kind of a wider sleeve, which I really prefer, and I think really works with the design, with it being drop shoulder and kind of slouchy and oversized and cozy. So you pick up stitches around the armhole for the sleeve, and then you shape until it's time to work the color work section, which is going to hopefully on all sizes land around the forearm / lower wrist area. So you do a bit of shaping to set up for the color work, just because it has to be a certain amount of stitches, and then you knit the color work, and then you knit a few more centimeters in the main color, which for this sample is bright red, and then you cast off in the contrasting color, which is really ties in with the body as well. So that's kind of my terrain pullover update. I will try to include the other videos that I took of just like the progress of, oh, I've just joined in the round and I've just started the chest panel color work, and I will also try to video me tying in all the or weaving in all the ends for the chest panel, but that will be painful, so I might put that off until the very end, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's kind of my update for today. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you guys probably in the morning for some more updates and knitty things. Inigo, say hello. Inigo. Inigo says hello. He's purring. Oh. He wants me to feed him dinner. And it's not dinner time, so I'm not giving this man dinner. Okay. Alright friends, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I hope that you, have just enjoyed coming along for the ride for my, weekly little knitting journey. And yeah, if you have any questions about anything I talked about, or if you have any ideas for some things you would like to see in the future in future videos, please let me know. I would love to share. Also, just another friendly reminder that I do have 2 release patterns. If you would like to check them out, you can check out my Ravelry at Marielle Alexander or at HandmadebyMariquita. I have the Sendero socks and the Apapacho socks that are currently out. And then I have 3 other patterns that are currently in testing. The Terrain Hat Duo, which consists of 2 different constructed hats, as well as the terrain pullover. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye. Bye. Bye.